Welcome back to Common Creatures, the TTRPG podcast. I am your GM, Rob / your co-host. And for today, we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing our very first live TikTok podcast. It's something that we're really going to want to start doing a little bit more. But with me today, I have two of our common creatures. I have Ethan.
Howdy.
And I have Alex, a.k.a. Mr. Alex Moon TV.
Oh!
What's up, guys? Wow, this is something that's this is really cool. I'm really excited. Alex, thank you a lot for helping us kind of set this up.
Helping? I did absolutely nothing of the sort, Robert.
I asked you like 3 questions. I was like, "How do I do this? I need your help."
You're acting like you're acting like I was tech support and I came in and set the whole thing up. And I answered 2 questions and I was like, "I'll invite you as a co-host, or you invite me as a co-host," and you were like, "Dope." But I'll take the accolades. Sure,
yeah,
I did it.
I will shower you with love and affection as much as I can. Ethan, thank you for taking some time out of your day as well. I literally I was like, "Hey, Ethan, you want to do something in like 2 days?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'll figure it out."
Yeah, I'll be there. Absolutely. Tyler, sorry, I'm distracted because Tyler's just absolutely testing out his thumbs right now, just tapping away with the likes.
I'll take it, man. Any likes that we can get is any likes that I will gratefully take. So this episode is going to be kind of just a little bit more personality based. We're not going to be playing any games today. We are taking kind of a little of a back seat on the gameplay for right now as I kind of frantically figure out how to move the story forward, as well as everyone and their mom was on vacation. So I was like, yeah, let's take a little bit of a break. Let's have a little bit of a breather, and let's do something really, really cool and get to kind of know our players and our people just a little bit more rather than kind of how they play the game. So I'm very excited to do this. I want to go ahead and throw it to Alex first because I was thinking about this as we were kind of setting up for this, and I was like, I have actually known Alex the longest of all the people that is in our group, our play
Which is wild because you hate me the most.
That's insane. Yeah, I know. I don't want to put that live out here, but but yeah, I was like, okay, obviously I'm married to Joe. Ethan, I've known Ethan since he was like 12 years old. Okay. Yeah, dropping that live right here. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is crazy. I've known Alex, I've at least known of you since elementary school, which is wild.
We were aware of each other in elementary school?
I was aware of you because of our mutual friend, Iman.
I get that a lot.
Yeah. Iman was in my elementary class. No, he was in your elementary class, but I was like friends with him on the playground. And I was like...
Dude, Iman was friends with everybody.
He's just a cool guy.
Everybody's like 2 separations of Iman when you're going over like who knows who.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like looking through I have an old, I'm not going to dox us, but I have an old elementary school yearbook from like when we were in like 4th or 5th grade. And I was like, oh, this is legitimately crazy that there is Alex right there. I've literally have at least been in proximity to you for over a decade.
Yeah, that invisible string was always stringing Robert.
Yeah.
Literally right next to each other, just walking in fucking 4th grade lines right next to each other, just past each other.
It's like that.
Yeah,
thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say when did we like properly meet? Probably like in middle school, right?
Yeah. Well, so we met in like class, like theater class, right? But I don't think like we became like really good friends until 8th grade when we did.
I would say like that was like 2024.
20, no. Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, I don't think we'd be allowed to go live right now if that was true. But yeah, I think like 8th grade when we did a musical together, and I remember us competing for a role, and one of my first actual experiences with you as like kind of like working with you was when we were competing against each other for the main lead, and they made us switch songs for characters. And both of us were just like, oh, this is awful. Like,
well, because it was the teachers pitting us against each other. It wasn't us. Like, we didn't go in like, I got to get the part from that guy. It was like the teachers were openly like, I think like the band teacher was like, I want Alex to do it, and the other 2 were like, we think Robert's really good. And I think me and you were like, just tell us who to be.
Yeah.
and they were making it like this big thing, and I just remember being like, this is wild.
Fight to the death.
Yeah, exactly. We were the pit bulls in the in the fight.
And both of us are just like, we don't need to be here. Like, let's just throw a
Yeah.
cast list out there right now.
I was like, I don't know what taxes are.
And then same thing. I mean, Ethan, I've known you because of our mutual friend Tyler, who's also in the live right now. Shout out Tyler.
Shout out Tyler.
You were Tyler's neighbor.
I was.
And so, like, I remember like going out one day and we were like playing basketball. They were playing basketball, and I was very much yelling across the road, yelling wild card and throwing the ball around.
Wild card. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The wild card, dude.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That hit me like a freaking flashback.
But yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, I've also known Ethan for like over a decade as well, which is also very crazy. And it's crazy to think that, I mean, the two people that I've known the least is my wife
True.
and Zach, which is
True.
absolutely crazy. Shout out Zach and my wife. My wife is at work. She got on her way home.
How long have you known Zach?
2-3 years?
Yeah, I guess it's been like
I won't tell that story right
3
now.
years.
Maybe
3
one
years.
day I'll tell the story.
Oh,
while
maybe one day. Oh,
while
shit, it's
while
one of
we all
those.
know. While we all know Zach. But
I just realized I didn't have a coaster, so I was making one out of blue tape.
oh, that's you're such an
Perfect.
engineer brain, man. I love that for you.
Thank you. There's literally, Robert, I can't tell you how much of my table and my setup is blue tape. I have like 2 rolls of blue tape next to me, and like the stand for my microphone was screwing up the first time I went live, so it's literally wrapped in blue tape so it stays where it needs to stay.
I love that for also like people can't see it right now because obviously like I don't have it, but Zach's mic is also like all taped up because
yeah.
Oh yeah.
the first
Oh yeah,
day
I
we
forgot
used
about
it,
that.
He like twisted it and it like fell apart, and I was like, I guess that's what I get for spending like $15 on mic stands. And
Oh my gosh.
but I do want to kind
incredible.
of start off like this little get to know each other podcast by kind of figuring out and talking about what are you really enjoying right now? Like, what are you reading? What are you watching? What's going on in your world? Ethan, I want to go ahead and start with you. What are you? We were kind of talking a little bit about a show that you're watching right now. You don't have to talk about that, one,
Right.
but I would love to know a little bit. What tickles your pickle?
Right.
Ethan?
I won't say that I'm watching it. I won't say that I'm watching it. I was last night with producer Maddie. We were watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. I was in the vicinity while they watched it. Really, just a confusing, dramatic show. You know, it feels like sometimes it's like, why would you say that? Why would you do that? And it's like, maybe that's just my brain being like, well, that's dumb.
Well, Jeremiah's just a free spirit.
Yeah.
You just don't get it.
He just really needs his double layer mirror cake. Jeremiah just, I've had very little experience with the show. I've watched a couple episodes in the beginning and now a couple episodes now close to the
Alex,
end.
no.
And it's Jeremiah, just not a friend.
no. But what else? What do you enjoy?
Oh, enjoy in general.
Yeah.
I'd say,
Robert's like, what do you like about your life?
I try and find joy in everything. I don't even know what to say to that question. What do you enjoy?
What makes Ethan live?
I kind of just thrive on the little moments whenever you get to kind of chill out and relax, like when you feel like I enjoyed like setting challenges up for myself and then reaching those goals or reaching those challenges and then completely shutting down and just being like, okay, I solved this issue, I'm gonna do nothing else for the rest of the week. And that's kind of what I enjoy for myself.
I love that Ethan stays not ever mentioning his wife about
True.
what do you enjoy about life? Just no, I can't think of a single
And that's exactly what Maddie said.
Yeah, both her and Tyler are both like, Luffy doesn't mention his fiance at all.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I enjoy my fiance, producer Maddie. I enjoy living with her. I enjoy my 2 cats that we share together. They are the loves of my life.
I'm just going to start
Heart.
making a sign to hold up every time we record anything, and it's just going to be like, your wife or future wife.
Alex, we talk about so much stuff together. I feel like we share a lot of hobbies, but tell me more about yourself and even like on what you do on your channel, Alex Moon TV.
Yeah. So I do a lot of kind of like, and I think that's one of the reasons that you reached out to me, other than that Tyler wasn't available. But, I've always been really into nerdy stuff. Robert's known that. We've always, outside of theater stuff we did in high school and such, me and Iman, we used to always make content together. That was always something that I had a passion for, and nerdy stuff has always been a real big passion for me. And what I do here on my channel, or I don't know, channel page, whatever, on my TikTok and on my social media pages, I just kind of talk about nerd stuff, the movie stuff, my opinions on things, and I like to start those conversations with people, whether they disagree with me or not. I think it's cool to find those spaces where you can talk to people about those things that you're really passionate about. And I stay doing that because I can talk about that shit for hours. I've recently started doing more lives and talking to more people and kind of trying to build a community of talking about nerdy stuff. But so I think when Robert reached out and was like, oh, here's this thing that you've never done before, but is probably up your alley, you might like it. And I've been loving it. I really like it. But like right now, as far as like the things that I'm into, I've been watching My Adventure with Superman that Robert turned me on to. It's great. My daughter and I are both really liking it. And then I am currently reading, comics wise, I just started the new Steve Rogers, Our Secret Wars run. I'm currently reading the Daredevil run that nobody likes right now. That's some of the nerdy shit I'm doing right now, or I'm into. But yeah. Oh, another not really nerdy thing, but a thing that I like about my life, outside of my lovely wife and daughter, is Robert, Ethan, check this shit out. I've been so excited about it. I've been working on it. I'm not sure if y'all are going to notice off rip, but I was so happy. Here, I'm going to have to stand up so you won't hear me for a minute.
And then Alex disappeared forever.
Yeah. He never got seen again.
He actually just left the live and drives away from his apartment.
And we keep this live up to this day just to show the chair of remembering Alex.
I can move without my cane.
Oh, let's go!
Oh, look at that!
Yes, for those of y'all who don't know, Alex had a mini stroke at the beginning of the year. I've been hobbling with a cane.
He's doing
well. No, I've been doing good. So that's been a great thing in my life recently.
Alex, something funny about what you said. Not about having a mini stroke. About the
like, what's funny is that you almost died, you moron. Your body don't know how to work right.
I went to the comic shop a couple of days ago, and I remember you telling me about the Daredevil run, right? And you're like, oh yeah, not a lot of people really like it. And I was like looking through all the different like aisles of the kind of trade paperbacks that they have. There was so many Daredevils that was on that shelf. It was insane. I was like, what? Okay, I was like, I guess Alex is right that no one really likes this run. I did pick up, actually have a couple of things right here. You can go ahead and say what you're going to say, but I have a couple of pickups.
Oh no, I think, I think all comic book characters have like those ups and downs, but right now, for whatever reason, the current run that I'm reading of Daredevil, and it was, I recently just got back into reading like modern comics before I was really into all the vintage stuff. And Christina one day was like, hey, I picked up this random issue of Daredevil. It looks dope. Here you go. And it was like the last issue of like a whatever story they were just telling. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I wish I had all the context before. So I was like, you know what? I'll just stick with it. I'll read it because, clearly they just ended this story. They're starting a new story. I'm going to stick with that for a minute. And I've been sticking to it because I commit to things even when they're bad for me, and everyone else around me or anyone that I see reading that current run is like, what the fuck are they doing? And I'm like,
that's how I felt about
They're like, he doesn't know
about the new Amazing Spider-Man run, where I read like the first 15 issues and I was like, bro, what is going on? Like the first issue ends really well. Like I was like, oh, this is actually really, really cool.
Is that the current, like the most recent number one that they released?
Yeah. Well,
is that the one where they have MJ's married to Paul?
Yes. Yeah. That's amazing. That's a new one. So they have two big Spider-Man comics going on right now. They have Amazing, which is the one that everyone dislikes, and then Ultimate, which is them starting the new Ultimate universe.
But that was like the new the new number one they just released fairly recently, right?
Yeah.
Because I have that sitting in my stack somewhere, and I haven't even gotten a chance to to read it.
I hear it's not great, but I was able to pick up.
People hate Paul.
People hate Paul. I was able to pick up Absolute Green Lantern, which I'm really enjoying, and then I got Absolute Superman 3. I've read 1 and 2, so I was able to find 3 finally. But I've been really enjoying the Absolute kind of run that DC's kind of going on right now. I think it's really, really cool to finally kind of. Ethan, did you want to see it?
Well, I have stuff to say about the third one.
Okay, yeah.
That you didn't bring up.
Yeah, you can go ahead and bring that one up.
Yeah, he also has The Runaways.
Yes.
Which if you ever watched the Runaways TV show, it wasn't great, but let me tell you, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed those campy takes on characters because I had never heard of the Runaways until I watched that TV show, and then I was really interested in them. But it wasn't great. But then also the Cloak and Dagger series that's on Hulu. That's how I got into Cloak and Dagger. So so was that a good series? I mean, obviously it was good enough to turn you on to Cloak and Dagger. Well, I watched Cloak and Dagger first, and then Runaways came out. But Cloak and Dagger was just really slow. Like it was just really like they don't like they get their powers in like episode 1 or 2, and then they don't really use their powers until like episode 8 or 9. And so it's like
classic Marvel TV show.
I was like, what are we doing? Like, I want to see them. Like, I'm seeing her pull up the dagger, and then she's like, and then the dagger goes away. And it's like, okay. And now we have to wait another episode for her to like bring the dagger back out. And then now we're going to throw it. And then it's like, okay, that's it. And then, them being intrinsically connected, I think that's the correct word, but just like connected and like, they have like a love-hate relationship at the beginning that turns into like a very either brother, sister, and or romantic kind of love.
Look, if the Flash can do it, Cloak and Dagger can do it.
Yeah,
true.
If Game of Thrones can do it, Cloak and Dagger can do it.
True.
What's more concerning is how many like properties of nerd stuff we just listed off that do that.
Yeah.
Why is everybody in love with their surrogate sister?
And then Cloak and Dagger has a crossover with the Runaways.
Yes, I remember you telling me about that.
And that was crazy for me, at least, because I'm the one of 15 people that were watching the shows at the time.
I was actually trying to find the Runaways show the other day. I was like, Alex and Ethan were both talking about it. I want to check it out. Could not find it anywhere.
Good.
It's not on Hulu.
Good. You're lucky.
They took it off.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's on the CW channel.
What
so
the hell?
You have to buy a CW subscription to go ahead and watch, I guess.
They buried that.
Yeah.
they buried it.
And I've never even heard about the CW subscription before.
Well, CW, it has an app, but it doesn't have a subscription from what I've seen. Because that's where I was watching The Flash. I would have to wait the next day to watch The Flash.
Well, see, I think there is, because I remember I paid to keep up with all the episodes of Crisis on Infinite Earths when they did that for CW. So I paid for some bullshit. So there's some kind of paid thing. Robert, real quick, side tangent, because you're bringing out your comics, and I need people to know that I also own comics. But so I was mentioning earlier, I'm reading the Captain America, the current like Captain America run, the Steve Rogers Captain America run they just started doing, and I went to the comic store and I was like, I'm looking for the new Captain America, Our Secret Wars #1, and they were like, oh, here it is, and it was a variant cover, and I'm not someone who's against variant covers. I'm not like a big stickler for like I need the original cover, and they were like, here's the one we have, and I picked this up and it was absolutely atrocious. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Yeah. And I looked at it and I was like, what the hell is this Frank Miller ass looking shit? And then I looked at it and then I saw the FM and I was like, damn it, it's Frank Miller. And I was like, fuck.
I'm weak.
I went back and I got the original one, so I'm still, now I'm happy.
I need to get you on Radiant Black. I need to get both of y'all on Radiant Black. Dude.
I've heard of it.
It is fantastic. So the guy that writes it or created it, his name's Kyle Higgins. What I'm going to say might sound kind of weird, but he wrote the best ever storyline for Power Rangers ever. So like there's like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic that takes place right after Tommy becomes like good again. and then so it takes off from there, and then eventually it splits off to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to like Power Rangers Ultimate or something, where it becomes more of like a space odyssey sort of thing. That comic series is so good, and so.
Is it Power Rangers SPD? It's not SPD?
No, it's like a whole different thing. And so he takes like all the stuff that he learns from this Power Rangers thing to make his own comic called Radiant Black, which is a really cool mix of Power Rangers and Green Lantern, where like each of these people have like their own designated costumes, like their colors. So Radiant Black is blue. There's Radiant Red, Radiant Yellow, Radiant Pink, whatever. And so each of them have their own costumes and each have their own designated powers. So like Radiant Black has like gravity. Radiant Yellow can see through time. And it is so cool because it gives you different perspectives. So like Radiant Black is a failed writer. Who just ends up getting this enormous power, and he's like, "Oh, I could probably use this to like make new stories or whatever." Radiant Yellow is like an older man who like has lost his wife through like a divorce, and so he's like trying to find timelines where he can like jump back and like find his wife. It's a fantastic series that is super funny and also like. The space stuff, I love space. I love sci-fi. That sort of content is so great, and it's perfect in this. It's only like 35 issues in, but I 100%. If you can get a chance to get like the volumes or whatever of it, get it because it's fantastic.
I gotta put myself on.
I just like the idea that sounds like if John Romita Sr. left Marvel and went, my new character, Arachnid Man.
So I did want to go ahead and talk a little bit more about, we are a TTRPG podcast. Mm-hmm. So for people that don't know, I'll give a little bit of an introduction to those that are out here online. But we are Common Creatures, a tabletop RPG podcast. We are currently playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, The Adventure Path, Season of Ghosts, which is a kind of a horror adjacent story that is very, very cool because it is also like Asian inspired. So there's a bunch of like little hints of Asian lore that's in there. We actually figured out because Maddie told us one of the things that we find after we finished. Maddie was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, that's in Asian mythology." I'm like, didn't even know. I wouldn't have known. So I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." Like everything is kind of pulled from there. But overall, I did want to kind of talk about RPGs as a whole, or TTRPGs as a whole, as we kind of have three different variations of experience when it comes to that, with me kind of, I think, the one with the most experience, then up to Ethan and Alex at the very bottom. But
how dare you?
Again, I want to start with Alex here because you do have the least amount of experience when it comes to this. Do you find it, were you ever like interested in TTRPGs before I like hit you up for like, hey, let's do this? Or was it kind of like, it's a nerd thing I'm not willing to touch?
I think it was always something that was very nerve-wracking, and I think that it was definitely something that I always kind of I always had an interest in and wanted to learn more about, but then like I would like see people talking about it passively, and it is so much. I mean, it's I guess being someone who's kind of a certain type of nerd for a lot of my life, like I'm like, oh, is that how other people felt about me the whole time? And I would go off about like comic book bullshit, or how the 3 Spider-Man movies of Tobey Maguire have all varying degrees of costumes that are different. So like whenever I would hear people talking like in a little more specific, I'd be like, that sounds like a fucking nightmare to figure out. Like that sounds like I would have no idea. Like, to me, it was the same level of like when people are like watching football and they're like, that's a first down. And I'm like, what does that mean? No one fell. Like, so I'm a little, it was like that. It was very nerve wracking, but I've always been into like the fantasy world building, whether it's been in shows or movies or even in like the video games that I play. I've always really liked that aspect of it. So when you reached out to me and you're like, yo, let's do this, I remember I just, you asked me and I immediately said, yup, I'm doing it. I'm down. Like I think you were like, you can think about it. You don't have to. I was like, nope, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I remember I went to go talk to my wife Christina, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this podcast with Robert. And I think she was like, oh, like your Geek Day thing that y'all used to do. And I was like, nope, it's like, you know, like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing, but like different. It's like a different version of that. And she was like, oh, cool. And I was like, I am so fucking scared right now. Like I was like so worried about it because I was like, I have no frame of reference for this. I don't know anything. And Robert was luckily very, very patient and gracious. He was like, ask me any questions you have. Let me know what's going on. Or if you need to know more of what's going on. So he made it a very good environment for me to come in and pick it up. There's still a bunch of shit. Like I'll hear like Ethan and Zach going like, well, my powers do this, or I have this, or Joe's all like, well, I can anamorph into, or whatever it's called. and I'm just like, and I told Robert. Yeah, and like I've told Robert, like when we recently got to a level up, like we had 10 episodes deep before we got to a level up. And he was like, so Alex, and I was like, I have no idea. And he was like, I will tell you what sounds good for you. Like, so he's just been kind of helping me out with that a lot. And, but I've been enjoying it. I've been mad enjoying it. I'm still learning stuff as I'm going. I feel like I have at least the base level understanding of what I need to do. And every now and then I'll have a dumb question like, what's a D6? But for the most part, it's been really dope. It's something I was always interested in. It felt very, like monumental, like I wasn't gonna ever get into it, but it turned out really good, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm always excited to do more of it, and I didn't think that was gonna be the case, because full transparency, the first few episodes I was like, I gotta stick to it, I gotta figure this shit out, I was really shitting myself because y'all guys obviously knew much more than I did. And now I'm like, dude, when are we doing it again? Let's go. I wanna roll some fucking touchdowns or whatever. So yeah, I've been digging it, and now I'm gonna take a hit of my inhaler.
Hell yeah. Ethan, someone that has a little bit more experience, but still, you didn't get to play with us in our original campaign. What is your relationship to TTRPGs as a whole? Because I know we both kind of bonded a little bit more about it when it came to like Dimension 20.
Yep.
Like a live play show. So tell me a little bit more about how you feel about TTRPGs and kind of what they mean to you.
Yes. I would say that my dream, who I idolize and hope to be like, is definitely Emily Axford, my favorite player, and obviously Allie Beardsley, because Allie Beardsley is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yes, I started on Dropout, kind of learning a little bit about Dimension 20, and it started on YouTube, really, of being like, oh, I saw this one time. I've seen Brennan Lee Mulligan before, in one of the many things he's done with College Humor. It looks like he's doing a D&D thing. I had always wanted to get into D&D, but I didn't really know how to get into it. And I believe they dropped, they being now Dropout, formerly College Humor, the Unsleeping City. And they dropped the entire campaign on YouTube. And I remember for like a whole week, I just locked in and was just completely watching that every single day. So Unsleeping City, for those who don't know, really cool campaign that they've done on Dimension 20. It's kind of more grounded, quote unquote. It's still fantasy, but it takes place in New York City. One of the first fights that they come into contact with is they're fighting evil Santas at the Santa Run in New York during Christmas time, where people dress up in Santa costumes and get super drunk. But they're in New York City, and it's that you can see that there's a secret kind of unseen magical side of New York City that normal people can't really see, and unless you're magical, you can see it, and it's such a cool experience, and the characters are just so hilarious and very relatable. Emily's character is an Italian character from Long Island, like an Italian widow. Zach is Riki Matsui, who is a firefighter who's just a bimbo or a himbo for lack of better terms. But you just get sucked into the characters, and I was like, man, I would love to do this and experience this. And then I just kind of started doing more and more research. I was like, man, I would love to play this. And Robert, kind of had reached out and was like, oh, I would, when we first started doing it with our initial campaign, we were all kind of learning. I'm still trying. I mean, I'm still to this day learning more and more about how to play, how to maximize my character. I'm not really a min-maxer. I'm definitely more of like, I want to make a good character. But yeah, just getting into TTRPGs has just been like you trip over a rock and you fall down a rabbit hole, kind of just like you get sucked into it really, really quickly. And it's super fun. It's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I've had like, as you can see, if you see her on the table, I think it's a little out of camera right now. But I love just reading and learning how to play TTRPGs. I think I've learned how to play like 6 or 7 different TTRPGs just because like I love storytelling as a whole. One of our, I think our last episode, our Maddie's Corner question was like, "What did you want to do when you grew up?" And my thing is always like, I wanted to tell stories, and that's what I really love about TTRPGs because it's like it's collaborative storytelling, and kind of as you get older, we're all kind of pushing towards 30, and it's kind of seen less like it's kind of looked down upon to be like, oh, you're still playing games or you're still playing imaginary, but there's just so much that you can love and learn about TTRPGs as a whole, whether it's like a rules heavy system like Pathfinder or something super light like Kids on Bikes. That's right here on top. There's just so much cool stuff. And also really the best part about TTRPGs as a whole is just getting to hang out with people. It's especially as you get older, it is like so hard to just like find time to, see each other or, like even just have a conversation that's not over, text or a phone call. To sit around a table, throw some plastic dice around and kind of just make up scenarios as it kind of goes along. There are so many to pivot to something else, there's so many games I want y'all guys to play so much.
That was something I was going to say before you pivot, because I mean, TTRPGs kind of combine a lot of what I've already enjoyed in my life. I was, like we say a million times, we were theater kids. So playing characters kind of came naturally to us. I really enjoyed doing theater in high school. I quit football my senior year so that I could do theater full time because I was enjoying it so much. I just kind of loved becoming
That's a plot to the next High School Musical movie.
I just loved like really diving into theater and being all about it. So being able to pull it on a character while also growing up, I really was into games and board games, and you get into games and then you start realizing like, oh, these games are fun, but they're also very like basic. Like Sorry was like really complicated growing up, and then like it was like, oh, now I understand the rules. It's not that difficult. I want to do something that's a little more challenging, that requires a little more skill. I personally hate Battleship. I hate Battleship because it's just luck. Like you're just lucking into hitting something.
And I hate Battleship because I always lose.
Yes, also that. But it's I like games of skill, and so I've been learning more and more different types of games. I learned how to play Catan. I learned how to play I believe it's called Mutiny. I learned how to play Cash and Guns. So there's a lot of games, and really TTRPGs kind of combines all of what I've enjoyed.
But how do you feel about Monopoly?
Oh my God. Okay.
Thank you, producer Maddie, for throwing that in the chat.
So the reason she brings this up, Maddie and I.
He's like, I have to explain.
Yes. Maddie and I occasionally go to her aunt's house to go for game nights, and we'll play. And Maddie we were playing, and it was late. It was already kind of like 11 o'clock, and Monopoly games go on forever. And so it was 11 o'clock. I was like, I'm going to go to the restroom. Unbeknownst to me, her and her uncle made a deal that Maddie was going to sell a property that I'd been trying to buy off of her for probably 10 rounds. And she was going to sell it to him for pennies on the dollar. And so I come back and the uncle's like, hey, Maddie, I'll give you that yellow, or I'll take that yellow property from you for a brown and $100. And she was like, okay. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I freaked out, and I legitimately got upset. And I was like, no, because that's such a worse deal than what I was offering you this whole time. That's like ridiculous. Like, why that offers no beneficial value to you in the terms of the game, because now you're not even playing to win. You're just playing to spite me. So at that point, you might as well not play. Like, just leave the game. And it got me upset, obviously. It gets me heated to this day.
Ethan's like, what is this tax evasion, under the table, double dealing bullshit that you're pulling right now? You think this is a joke? This is Park Avenue, Maddie.
Yeah, I was like, dude, are you fucking kidding? I was like, I had the
He's like, somebody
two,
gets it.
I had the other two in the set. I'm giving you some other options to complete your set. Why would you take a brown property, which is notoriously in Monopoly the cheapest of all of the properties? Why would you take a brown property when you could have had a full set? That makes no sense. But yeah, as Maddie said, mind you, this was 3 years ago. I'm so definitely over it. But yeah, also, you can ask Maddie about the game of life, because I am the champion of that, reigning champion, back to back. So I have no money, and then at the very end, you can choose to bet it all. Mm-hmm. And back to back, I've won it all on that last gamble.
Get shit on.
Yeah. Yes. Screw you, Maddie. I love you.
So. Another one of the basic one of the really cool things about TTRPGs is kind of improv, and that's something I think we all really excel at here. And one of the best things I think that really showed me that y'all guys were ready to kind of move on past the railroad tracks was the introduction of Burgle, that is just the comedic masterpiece, but from Alex over here.
I don't think it was my idea. Didn't we say it was like Zach's idea or something?
Yeah, it was Zach or Joe.
Yeah, to like kidnap, but like
to interrogate.
To interrogate, but to continue to like be like, oh, he's gonna come along with us. Or
look,
like
I'll admit, I definitely ran with it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think collectively I think like you're saying, that was like one of the times that collectively as a group we all went, let's do some stupid shit.
Yeah.
And everybody was on board for it. Well, and
I think if there's one thing that this group knows how to do, it's commit to a fucking bit.
Yeah.
And so it was just perfect timing.
And you know what? I was really, for Robert, do you want to explain the Burgle thing for people who might not know the Burgle thing?
So there are these enemies that are in Season of Ghosts that are kind of like mindless mob, not mindless, but like small mobs that are like in any video game or anything, that they're called Jenkins. And so after a huge fight of like on this dam to try and get like from one side of the town to the other, these three Jenkins corner our heroes that are playing, and and after obviously the heroes win like they usually do, it was the group's decision to kind of find this last Jenkin that's on its own and tie him up and basically interrogate him, and then this kind of turned into a bit that it has seeped into now every sort of aspect to where now there was some trouble, and I could see Alex like on the edge of his seat being like, what's going to happen to my baby? But
well, because I genuinely, when we started the Burgle thing, when you introduced him, and then my favorite part is that like you gave him a voice, and I think you were like, oh, this is gonna be like a one-off character I'm gonna play for a minute, and now we're however many episodes later, but like after we got Burgle and like we were getting into some of those situations where he could have turned on us, he could have asked for help. He could have ran away. He could have rolled badly and not started Viva Revolution. And
friends, Jinkin countrymen.
yeah, and all those moments. But I was also just like, ultimately, Robert's the GM. He's going to decide what he wants to do, what he doesn't want to do. And I was always kind of at the edge of my seat, like, is Robert going to want to stick with this? Is Robert going to want to have a long-term, essentially additional player that is himself within this campaign that we're doing? Or is Robert going to allow us to carry this out for an episode or two and then find some way to write it off? Like I kind of thought, and I'm really interested to know if this was ever a thought in your mind, when we get to the mansion, that first time where I think it was the mansion, when we got to wherever they take Burgle for a little bit,
and
they had him. Yes, I was always like, I wonder if Robert this is his scapegoat into making sure he doesn't have to take into account Burgle going forward.
I thought he was going to die.
Yeah, I thought something was going to happen where Burgle escaped or Burgle ends up trying to kill people. There was a lot of things, and I think that's also the most exciting part is we don't know any of those things, so we're really at the mercy of Robert and his creative mind deciding how the story is going to go. And I was fully expecting every time that we've gotten Burgle farther in every single episode, I'm always like, this is the one where Robert's going to write him off. This is the one where he's going to die. This is the one where he's going to have to, some bullshit. Well, I'm genuinely, and it's going to break my heart, but I'm waiting for some lore bullshit to come out where you're like, oh, well, after this season the Jenkins go south or some bullshit and Burgle has to leave or something. So I've been I think that's what's been most exciting about the Burgle thing for me is it is so not in the foundation of what you've been doing at all. It's not in the carrying him along is not in the storyline. It's not in the lore book of how you're supposed to handle this. It's just we're just making it up as I go. And I think you've been doing a great job as far as keeping that going.
I think off of what something Alex said, we've found a way to incorporate you as a character to play with us on this adventure, which I think I didn't realize until Alex said it, but we have definitely found a way to make you a character, and we're you're going to play this with us while also playing against us. So I think that's
real
very
quick,
funny.
my boy Ian chat. We're talking about the Comic Creatures podcast. Sorry, we're also live, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm answering people.
Oh, you're good.
But we're talking about the Comic Creatures podcast. If you don't watch it, you should definitely check it out. There's a link in my bio. Love you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, please. So yeah, I mean, to get to that, one of my favorite things after the end of the podcast, we record each every 2 weeks, is Joe coming up to me and being like, okay, so what happens if we did this? And I'm like, okay, well, this is what happens, blah, blah, blah. But the great thing about this being collaborative storytelling and majority improv is I don't know what's going to happen a lot of the time. I write down hey, the first few episodes were very railroady. Hey, this is what you kind of need to know about. This is what you need to know about the story. This is what you need to know about how to play, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And then really once we got to more fighting stuff, I was like, okay, I can let off the brakes a little bit more, have a little bit more fun. And now it's kind of hey, if you want to do something, I'm going to let you do it. Within the confines of does it make sense to the character? Does it make sense to the world? And then sometimes if it's just a good bit, man, if it's just a funny thing to do and for us to have a good time, I'm going to let y'all do it as well. Cause it's I get sometimes, especially after this last episode, episode 12 was a really heavy episode. Especially at the end where it's 11 and 12 were both pretty heavy. Yeah. And I remember y'all guys being oh yeah, joking around. Oh, I want to do this. Blah, 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 blah. And then it gets to the end part of 12 and Joe being we were just all messing around and now there's body parts everywhere. Oh, yeah.
Cause I remember Joe, I don't want to say it if I'll try and do it without spoilers. Mm-hmm. Joe asked a question and she said, if we didn't take so much time, could a different outcome have happened? And you being yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
It's we should have locked the fuck in a long time ago, but we were too busy fucking around. So it's, yeah.
That's the great thing about this is that it's a living, breathing world. And of course, like I have stuff that I've written for like story purposes. Like I was telling Ethan, like, oh, I had another idea of like I wanted to kill your dad. Like there was like things that I had written off that I was like, oh, this would be good story moments for us to have to kind of hang out and stuff. Yeah, being able to kind of like, oh man, this is something I didn't think we were going to do. Like Alex in the last episode, this isn't really a spoiler, but you're like, hey, can I climb to the second level? I'm like, absolutely you can. Yeah, like that's awesome. Because like to me, it's
that worked out really well for us actually.
I was like, I don't think people would actually go to the second level until like after the battle. So like that's really, really cool to do that.
And one of the things that you kind of mentioned earlier was like how the first couple episodes were very like on rails a little bit, and then like later on you kind of opened it up. Because I remember at the beginning there was a couple times where like not necessarily I was being told no. I think you were kind of steering me to not do certain things. Mm-hmm. Like I think there was one of the early episodes where I was like, can I do this? Or can I, like, I think I was trying to do the same thing. Like I was trying to scale a building. And you're like, I'm not sure if that would work here. Because like there was very like, we were trying to get somewhere. And I feel like now we're in a, not that you told me no, but I think it was more like, well, we're trying to get to here, you know? And now we're in an area where it's much more like, fucking go ahead, you know? And I think it's been really exciting. Can I ask you a slightly spoilerish question?
Yeah,
Robert?
absolutely.
What would have happened if I didn't go up there? Were those eggs supposed to hatch and be a part of that battle or something?
Yeah, so there was a possibility. So there's a lot of stuff that I add that's flavor. Another thing that was added was the Zhang Peng thing. That was not added in the in the actual Tyler. Like I'll get to Tyler's question right now, but that wasn't in the storybook at all. Like they give you like really, really cool things to do, but I was like, how can I introduce this new enemy that's going to be really pivotal in the next coming episodes, as well as introduce characters and kind of have this sense of unease. We've been kind of, joking around the last couple of episodes, and of course I love to do that as well, but I also like to keep y'all guys on your toes. Like, it's like, hey, we're going to jump around, we're going to hang around and stuff, but there's this immediate right turn to that.
Dude,
right
that whiplash was like going from Harry Potter 2 to Harry Potter 3. That shit was wild.
We had a question here in the chat from Tyler. So how close was Burgle to dying due to Alex's failed athletics check while Burgle had the fire weapon? Very close.
First off, it was Alex's work in progress athletics check. I don't think it was failed.
Yeah. Definitely.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, if Alex had rolled a natural 1, I would have very sadly made Burgle take the damage of that. But of both of the fall damage one, because it is 10, so there is like fall damage rules in Pathfinder, as well as the additional damage for the alchemist fire, as well as the it's like burst fire as well. So I don't think Burgle would have died. I think he would have been very close to death, and I think Zach immediately would have like been.
Are we talking about when he fell from trying to climb up the wall?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like
in this last episode. So I mean, like, there's stuff that happens so much, and like I did have a little bit more mercy on Burgle right now because, truthfully, I do like to play Burgle. I think Burgle is a lot of fun, and the more that we get to play, the more I'm like, what is Burgle? Like, who is Burgle? And the more that I've been able to be in the skin of Burgle. I've been like, I can actually introduce Jinkin lore now because they don't give a lot in the book. So like, I was like, okay, so this is it. So anytime you guys asking me a question about Burgle, I'm like,
we're gonna fucking find out.
We're gonna make it up. Right
You're
now.
like, this is some shit right now. We're just throwing it out there.
So another question that we had here from Dino Snore: who do you think is going to be player killed first? I definitely think it will be Joe. It'll be Joe.
I think it's also going to be Joe.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty easy one because she is the only frontliner. Well, I guess Zach is also with being a champion, but he does have a higher AC and a lot more HP than she does.
Much more tanky.
Definitely. And so another one of the things I want to ask, since we're kind of talking about this, like the show overall right now, are there any things that you would want to kind of do more of, or like are there mistakes that you've made in like the past episodes that you're kind of like, oh man, I shouldn't have made that choice, or like things that you would like to think yourself should improve from that?
I think, well, first off the bat, we've talked about this in episode 10, but just like I wasn't curious enough in the beginning. Like I didn't ask about the argument at all that went on with the city leaders. It's like that's probably going to play a huge part. We'll never know what the hell they said because I didn't ask that question. I've been trying to find Tominari as a character. Obviously, you see all of these professionals, we'll call them, quote unquote, and it's like, oh man, they should have like a really good understanding of their character. Tominari started off really, I had a vision for what I thought he was going to be like. And I think just as it's gone on, it's kind of shifted a little bit away. He's a little more, he's still reserved, and he's still, but I think that it's been a collaborative effort to, between, I guess, us, kind of to find out how we're going to play this character. Cause I remember coming to Rob the first time and I was like, man, dude, I kind of want to play a character that's like always getting like talking with his ancestors and like, the ancestor curse. And like, obviously I haven't been playing like that. I'm learning how to play like that as an Oracle, but, trying to be like, doesn't really talk to anybody. He was a loner. He's like talking to himself cause he's talking to his ancestors, but it's kind of shifted away from that. And I think I liked the shift, of just being, all of these experiences are kind of building up his confidence a little more. But it's really interesting. I try and stay consistent, but I myself am not consistent enough, in my character choices. So it's like, one time I'll be super loud and whatever. And then the next session I'm kind of like, okay, and I'm going to go down like this. And it's like, okay, you're kind of, I'm giving myself whiplash, kind of on how I decide to run that character. But that's something that I kind of want to build off of. Originally, when I thought of the character, I was like, oh, ancestors. I'm going to kind of make it like the Avatar state, like when Aang is like pulling up an ancestor and then he talks to one ancestor and you just had a kind of a different vision for it, which is totally cool. I mean, like I'm not upset about that, but that's like
he's upset about it. But
no,
it's
definitely not, definitely not. But just that's kind of what I want to be a little more consistent on personally from my perspective.
Alex, what about you, man? I know like you're as well learning as you go. Also, hello to Final Girl in the chat. Is there anything as we've kind of continued to play along that you're like, oh, I wish I'd done this differently, or something that you feel like you want to do more in kind of the future stuff?
I think that as far as like what I think I should have done differently, I personally think I've been perfect, and I think out of everybody, I've got the greatest track record, the best track record. I'd pull it out and show you, but the doctors say it's good. No, I genuinely feel like one of the, and I don't know if it's like this in every single story that we could have told, but I think that you did a really good job with putting us in a situation that made sense in the real world and in the story that you chose to tell, because we're all kind of coming in, and while everyone is, obviously a lot of you guys are more familiar with each other than I was with everybody. I mean, I'd kind of met Ethan previously, briefly, but like for me, it was really easy to kind of come into a character that didn't really know the other people around him and was kind of figuring out within the story the same way that I was figuring it out with everybody. And I think that's reflective in how I played that character. up front because when Chithidion first shows up, it's very much I was playing him at the beginning like kind of on the outskirts a little bit, like didn't really want to say much, kind of annoyed with people, really not talking much, but that was my crutch for me genuinely not knowing a lot of what I'm doing and trying to figure it out as I'm figuring out the character. So, getting to the point where we're at now, where I'm much more comfortable with the character, and I think Chithidion, well, me, myself as a character and Chithidion as a character have both kind of opened up, because now we're getting more of a personality to Chithidion that I'm throwing in there, because now he's not being as quiet. He's not just like kind of being like, oh, I'm here to attack things and get beer. Like now he's actually a little more involved. He's had this father-son relationship with Burgle that's kind of come up into play now. And so as far as what I could have done differently, I don't know. I think it all worked out the way that it needed to. As far as what I want to do more going forward is I think more of what we've started doing now, which is telling those stories in a more, not that we weren't being collaborative, but in a way that we're all contributing to the story the whole time. You know what I mean? Because like before it was coming in, and Gigi very much has her own story that was kind of like, in her past that was coming up, and Tominari the same way, and Seraphim the same way. Chithidion was kind of doing his own thing. And I think now as those stories are coming in more, the characters are more willing to like get involved with the stories more. So it's not just their stories kind of all happening at the same time. It's all those stories happening to each other's stories, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm more excited about that stuff than anything.
Yeah, I want to get Zach more. I mean, as much as I can, I want to get Zach's story more involved because I feel like Zach has this underlying story of like fire, something that's going on with fire that I would like. Our characters definitely don't know about. I don't know about, and I'm like, man, that's so interesting. So I like want to make sure, but Zach is very much as a person and as a character, very much like. We have an objective. We're going to go to the objective. We're going to do this the most efficient way we can do it. But, I kind of want to, I want to blend both of what we do, which I'm very much like,
Sorry.
like very character, keeping it open. And I want to kind of blend and learn more about Zach so we can build Zach's relationship, because I think that Zach has kind of been the, still like I just don't know. I don't know about him, and so I'm like, man, I just gotta like ask more questions to him. But I, even when I ask him questions, I feel like sometimes he'll be like, no, and it's just like, okay, I'll leave you alone.
We have a couple of questions here in the chat. One of the first ones is, Rob, if you were to make your own character for the game, how would you describe them? I honestly think I would probably do something very similar to Ethan, but rather than doing an oracle, I would probably do. So it's not a warlock in Pathfinder. It's a warlock in Dungeons and Dragons, but the Pathfinder equivalent is called a witch, which is where you make a pact with some sort of extraplanar entity or anything. I think I would do that. It feels like it's very in that vein. Or when I was thinking of when I was looking at this, a thaumaturge, which is a class that studies monsters. And so the whole thing is like, hey, I want to figure out what the weakness is to this monster and then automatically do damage to that. I just think like that investigative sort of character works really well for a story like this. So I'd probably do like a mix between Chithidion and Tominari, where like an outsider that's really interested in the town overall and wants to learn more, but is not willing to be like kind of there.
Well, I originally wanted my character to kind of be like that. I think as we've gone on, that's kind of been pushed a little to the wayside, but definitely that was something that I was like, I remember talking to you, or maybe I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, my character is cursed, and being, not understanding the curse, I thought that he kind of, one, was kicked out, but two, was also going out on his own, trying to learn more as much as he could so that he could understand his curse better. But that kind of has shifted away to just being like, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing because I'm still figuring out my life. But yeah, I mean, that character would have been
Yeah.
awesome.
We have another one. So we have one from Final Girl, aka Natalie. What's up, Nat? If your character suddenly got 1 million gold, what would they buy first? I'm gonna start with Shithidion. What would Shithidion buy first?
All the booze that I can get, and maybe whatever I have to purchase to finally find out how to self-equip arrows.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, Robert, I don't see the menu to put arrow. Can you put those in my inventory?
Yeah, don't worry, they're added. You're good.
Everyone's like, thank you. And honestly, for us, gold really hasn't played a big, huge role so far.
Not yet.
I think because
Not yet.
I was about to say not yet, but that's because the town is in ruins. The economy isn't really a big thing for us. I think honestly, outside of Sarathan fixing stuff for people at the camp, like there really hasn't been a moment where commerce has taken such a big role.
And he's been quick to loot bodies and burn them.
Yeah.
He has, yeah. He's always getting rid of the evidence extremely fast.
All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, I gotta do this real quick. The next question. Oh, Ethan, go ahead and answer yours.
Okay.
Is TikTok asking if you're a real person?
If we're real. Hurry,
Yeah.
Robert. You have 4 minutes and 59 seconds. We're not going to make it in time. So I forgot the question. What was it? Oh, million gold. Tominari, very family oriented man, or boy. He would probably buy an estate for his family. He does have a pretty big family, an estate, with their farmland, and probably he would make some more rooms for his new friends that he has. He has never had friends before, so obviously he feels a deeper connection to all of these people than they probably feel towards him. But yes, for his best friends, he would make some extra rooms for them. But that's probably what he would buy.
Nice. I just stumbled upon this live. Is this the same crew that did the Geek Day podcast? Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Oh,
No.
it is a little
no.
bit of the back end of the Geek Day podcast. So we do mention Geek Day every once in a while.
We do.
But mostly just Alex and I mention Geek Day.
Anytime we start talking about Marvel,
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is the Geek Day podcast.
surprisingly, we haven't talked about Sonic's feet once.
Not once. Yeah, it hasn't came up yet.
Not yet.
yeah.
Not yet.
It's coming up. I feel it. I felt the vibes shifting that way.
Then one last question right here from Tyler G. What is the lore behind Shithidion's alcoholism?
Oh, okay. So when I was, Robert was, okay. When Robert was telling me like, oh, we have to like build out a character and, for the campaign, I wasn't sure how much I needed to build out. And the antithesis of Alex's one paragraph that was very poorly written about Shithidion's story, the antithesis of that was Ethan's 14-page memo about his character. But for Shithidion's alcoholism, two things. One is he has a backstory that is a bit sad but funny that plays into his name. And I think at some point we'll probably touch on that in some way. At least I'd like to. But another thing is that, to be totally honest with you, and maybe this is the slightly sad answer, in the midst of everything going on and Shithidion being nervous, I thought, what is this Alex thinking about when he's nervous? And this Alex is actually, I used to be an alcoholic. I've gone to AA. I've since moved past that and all that. But that was something I struggled with. So I know when I was nervous, that's what I went to. I was like, where's the alcohol? Where can I numb the nerves that I have? So for Shithidion, it was a very natural thing for me to be like, oh, I may not do that anymore. That might not be my first choice, but I'm trying to play a very flawed character. So that was like a character choice that was very easy for me to make and be like, oh, I can get behind every time he's nervous. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Shithidion hasn't been as hyped on finding alcohol since he's kind of gotten more used to the group and, happier with everybody. And at the beginning, it is very much more charged with that than it is later on, which I think is reflective, kind of like I said earlier, of the growth of the characters being more comfortable with each other and then me being more comfortable in the game.
Yeah, most definitely. I've definitely noticed that. And we've talked a little bit more on the back end of like developing this character a bit more so we can add a little more story points to that. But I wanted to know from y'all guys, was there any questions that y'all guys had for me when it comes to like the story? Is there anything that you're anything curious about? It doesn't even have to be about Season of Ghosts. It could be about RPGs as a whole. I can say right now, as y'all guys kind of think about questions, is that the next game that I really want to play with y'all guys is the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game.
Oh, yeah.
You have not shut up about that the whole time. I'm excited because you're so excited about it.
I think it's something that's very, very fun, and I have an idea for our story that would be really, really fun to do as well. So that I'm very excited for whenever we do get to that. I know we've talked about doing kind of side stories in between the different books for Season of Ghosts. But yeah, were there any questions that you all had for me?
Nothing that I don't think you can answer right now. Like obviously the lore of the founding of Willowshore, with the two blades, or the with that beginning sequence, where the two entities are fighting. That seems like it will play a rather big part in whatever the major story is, because I'm not sure that we're doing the major. We'll figure it out later, like way later, semi later. But yeah, that's really the kind of my big question of like, man, how does this kind of play into everything that's happened so far? Because I feel like we've been very like, oh, there's ghosts now. Okay, we're gonna figure it out, but we haven't really stopped to ask why. So, kind of, I'm interested to learn a little bit more about why all of this happened to begin with, because it just kind of came out of the blue for our characters, I guess.
So one of the cool things about, being able to read these books in advance and kind of plotting out the story for this, right, is that I have the opportunity to cut whatever I want. So there is a lot of stuff that I am cutting in between these next kind of chapters, because, spoiler alert, we're almost at the end of this second chapter, which is fantastic. The difference between chapter 1, which took us 10 episodes, to chapter 2 is fantastic. And I'm very excited to get to chapters 3 and 4, which starts to build out a little bit more of that story. And then as well as a lot more of conflict between the Northridge and South Bank. Very, very excited to get more into that. So I cannot answer that right now, but you will find out more stuff here. Right now, we have another question in the chat. Do you enjoy playing as a player or a GM more? Definitely GM. Being a player is very, very fun. I really do enjoy that, being able to have that sort of kind of the wills of the GM, but being a GM overall itself is just, I love making stories, and I love seeing where people's brains go with the stories as a whole. Like seeing people make the story their own. Like I can provide the materials, but whatever choices you make really informs the kind of story that I can see y'all guys want to tell. So that is something I really, really enjoy about being a GM over a player. Alex, did you have any questions?
One thing that has always kind of been a little, not heavy on my head, but something I've thought about a lot. Again, because this is my first experience, obviously we're going to get into more of a, what I'm assuming is a point where the town won't be under siege. We're going to get to a point where we're going to see more of like a standard town acting as a standard town would after it gets taken back. In these things, typically, again, from someone who, this has been my first experience outside of the small campaign we did before, are the characters usually going to always be together? You know what I mean? Or is there going to be a point where we're going to be like, oh, well, this character's going off to do this character's going off to do this? That's always something that I was always kind of not clear on, if that's the case, or we're always just ultimate alliancing this bitch and everyone's just all four together at all points.
So coming up, especially with the end of this chapter, with how it is sort of ending so far, we will have individual storylines kind of going on the side as well. They probably won't be, they're not going to each take an hour each. You know, it might be like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, bring together, go away. 5 minutes
Like when
here.
we've had those offshoots where Tominari walks off to talk to his family kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like if
Okay.
if you all have a moment to be like, I want to go and do this, I will most definitely be like, yeah, let's take a detour. Let's go ahead and do this. Like I said, that's the perfect thing about being able to read kind of all the background information. I know majority of the information of what needs to kind of be said. So if you have questions or anything like that in character, I'm more than welcome to be like, yeah, let's do a little segue over here to just be like, yeah, here's the information about why they fought at the reenactment festival, or hey, like here is the mansion that is gone. Here's what this person thinks about. You know, very like the things that you don't necessarily get in video games, to be like, oh, like this huge thing happened. Let me go to check out what this person thinks, and they just have the same dialogue over and over again. Like you can't get any more out of that. That's what I try to fill in with, you know, role-playing games, to be like, no, like this person does have an opinion, and if you do go out of your way to go ahead and learn what they think about it, you might learn more, or you might regret asking. You know, it does have those sort of aspects for that.
Okay. That was the only thing I had.
Yeah.
I definitely tried to separate from the group a couple times, and Zach's like, "No, we're gonna play back."
Yeah.
He doesn't trust me to be by myself. Which, to be fair, he has every right not to trust me, because I definitely get unlucky when I'm by myself. But
You're not that much luckier with the group.
true. But when I am lucky, it's at the right time, or wrong time.
Okay. Can you tell me when the right time's a bit?
Give us 5 examples, please.
I know, right?
Come back to me.
And my next question to y'all guys is, obviously, you know, this is going to be a thing that we're going to have rotating casts, rotating stories, rotating whatever for, you know, other campaigns that we're going to have in between. What are some kind of stories that you enjoy, and what kind of stories would you want to tell or be a part of? Like, is there a sci-fi heist that you would want to be a part of, or is there a high fantasy like Civil War story that you would enjoy? Is there a superhero story that you would like to tell? Do you want to be a kid in a town? What are some stories that you would like really enjoy? So like me as the DM can bring into, you know, other stories that we're going to bring to life in hopefully the near future.
I mean, I would say that, you know, and this is going to be my pretentious answer, that I don't think there are specific stories that I want to tell necessarily, but there definitely is this wanting to continue to have interesting characters interact with one another. So that's really more what like I'm looking for. So I can't tell you like, oh, I'd love a superhero thing, I'd love a sci-fi thing, I'd love, you know, the fucking bikes on kids or whatever the fuck it is. It's more
Bikes on top of kids.
Yeah.
yeah, spikes on the kids. But well, it makes sense. The bikes have to ride kids sometimes. They're too tired. But no, like I think just having an opportunity or kind of being teed up for whatever stories we do tell, it being kind of like what we're doing right now, where there is a lot of character stuff to explore. And honestly, that feels like kind of a given with TTRPGs in general, it seems, from what I've experienced so far. I mean, y'all can tell me I'm wrong if I am, but I think that is what I'm most looking forward to. I'm always, as long as there's openings to tell really interesting stories amongst the characters, I'm much more excited about that than more than necessarily what we're doing.
Hell yeah, brother. Ethan.
Jeez. The superhero, I really want to play a speedster in Multiverse. What is it? Multiverse of Madness?
That's the movie. Marvel Multiverse. Yeah.
Marvel Multiverse.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a speedster.
Gosh, because I love speedsters. Speedsters are the Flash is my favorite superhero. So definitely that. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm gonna look at these other games. Gosh, there's so
Well,
many.
he's thinking, Robert.
There are so many.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say while he's thinking, Robert, are there any that you really want to tell, or you think the group would be the group that we have currently, or maybe other groups that you're kind of thinking about would be really like tailor made for?
Yeah, so there are definitely some ideas that I have rolling. I have 2 ideas rolling around in my noggin for 2 different. Actually, I have 3 ideas that are rolling around in my noggin for different RPG systems. So I really want to tell a hometown story. I want to tell a story based here in San Antonio, and I've been the more that we've been that Joe and I have been kind of driving around and visiting different places. Thank you, my wife, for taking me out of the home. I really want to do a Call of Cthulhu based San Antonio story that's kind of based on. Different San Antonio lores and stuff. Call of Cthulhu is all about mental damage over physical damage and how a person can kind of not thrive but survive these cosmic horror events. So I think one would be really cool to do that. Another one is we have Starfinder coming out on August 20th.
Oh, true.
And that is the sci-fi version of Pathfinder. So you can play like it's the exact same rules as Pathfinder, but in space. Yeah. And there's different classes, different races, and kind of a different storyline that's in there.
Star Wars adjacent.
Yeah, I really want to make a Star Trek story in Starfinder. I think that would be really fun to be like, hey, y'all guys are all a part of. You're all a part of like the Starfleet Federation, and you are all one ship, and you're on these wacky adventures. You know, you're kind of on the bottom rung, and you're trying to work your way up. I think that would be another really fun one.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, and then the last one is I want to tell a team story for the Marvel Multiverse one. I want y'all guys to make your own characters and kind of be like, hey, you are a team, and you're making your own team. You have your origin stories and stuff like that. I would love to do like 5-minute vignettes of like, hey, here's your origin story before the thing to kind of talk about, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, those are the 3 main stories that I really want to talk about right now. As for like people who would be in those, I don't necessarily really know. That's kind of whoever's really available and really enjoys those. But yeah,
Tyler has his chance.
I think that Zach would be a really good Captain Kirk, like manning a Starfleet. That sounds exactly like something that he would do.
Yeah.
I always go back to the to my pipe dream of doing a Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Avatar: The Last Airbender campaign. Gosh, man, I've been doing more research now that we've been actually doing campaigns, but man, that's just my concept. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be so cool. I personally, the reason why I haven't done it this whole time is because I'm really scared to GM, just because I don't really know like all the rules, because I don't have the 100% understanding as a player. I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to GM an actual game, and that might not be necessarily true or false, but that's kind of kept me from like pushing it forward a little bit. But the concept that I had is just like, it's very it's more, it takes place during Avatar Aang's kind of older years, but it's very Korra inspired in the sense of like Korra gets really dark with its like violence, and that's kind of what my idea was with it. But that's always, once I finish that, quote unquote, then that's something that I would love to do. But
I can't wait to do that in 3 years. No.
Yeah. No, I'll finish it. Hopefully before the end of the year. I just don't know what I need.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'll have to kind of coordinate with you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like, I don't want to come in and be like, oh, I got it, I'm done, finally. And then somebody asks me a question and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about that. It's like,
can I scale the building? Fuck.
Shit. I'm an earthbender, so I should be able to. Oh fuck, man! I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah.
Now you know how I feel when people are like, can I kick Burgle off the side of a thing? I'm like, yeah,
Me.
I guess. Yeah,
Me.
you can. Go ahead.
I love that. Yeah, I guess
Yeah, I
probably.
guess. That is it for our very first live episode of Common Creatures, a TTRPG podcast. If you really enjoyed that, please let us know. We would love to know if you really like these kind of live segments where you get to read some questions from the chat, get to know each other a little bit more, and talk about the podcast that we're doing. So if you are listening to this on podcast services around the world, please go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Both of them are at common_creatures. Again, that's at common_creatures. Thank you again, and we love you all. People that are watching the live, please don't watch me kind of walk over and try and turn it off. It's very awkward. But
Did you steal that from me, or you're just?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely stealing that from you, from your last time. And also follow Alex Moon TV
Yes.
on TikTok.
Go follow him.
He's
right
live
here.
a lot of days of the week and talks about comics. I'm in there a lot, so you can also talk with me over there too. So any last words, y'all?
No, Davy Crockett versus Cthulhu sounds hilarious. That was one of the last chats we got. But no, everyone stay safe. We love you.
Everyone go home dangerously, and I don't.
And we'll see you next week.